Welcome to the Big Biz Show.
Taking care of business.
You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, it is the Big Biz Show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here inside the Loft 100 studios in sunny Southern California. And, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the greatest trio in the business, the Day Trader Trio. What? DTT. Here at the bar, it's Costa, Mary, Godwin, Greg Todorov, and, of course, Sully.
Abity, ladies and gentlemen. Abity. Double A BHTY and a big howdy to you.
Oh God, we're back at that
Abity. AABH2I. Hey, not to be confused with apathy. Mary, I have to ask you, regards to, I know that you've got one driver heading to college, you got one that's coming up.
Yep.
What are the rules around getting a driver's license these days for kids?
So you're not allowed to drive anyone, I think it's under 18 for the first year, except a sibling to and from school or to and from, they go to dance together. So they do it anyway. And I said, I don't care if your friends are doing it. You're not doing it, because my older daughter got in a little fender bender. She had kids in the car.
Ooh.
And that you could get
that's
sued
on your
for
permit.
that.
Did you say things like that's on your the wings?
Oh,
wings?
You better believe it.
Those are called B wings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they're called mom wings when you have kids, but when you get married, they're called other wings. Did you say things like this is going to be on your permanent record?
I said something to that effect. Yeah. Because they could the people that got hit could sue you if you're not abiding by the rules. The girls got home and fled and on foot.
I've got a question for Howie. I got a question for Howie Font.
Howie Font.
My first question, Howie. Very simply stated, where is the permanent record located? Because this is going to is there a I know that we are I know that we're
my personal one is classified under crash, so it causes some filing.
Oh yeah, you could tell us a little bit about
I believe they're all encased within the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, if you talk to Indy Jones.
So we can't actually find it right now.
Pretty much.
Hey, Howie, I know that the reason I'm asking this is because I know that Mary once again is now in the position to have to buy another car. I feel so bad because there is college coming. So you finally get through. Well, here's the good news. No, it's actually bad news.
No, not
because when we collectively were in high school, we were asking out a single person. So I asked Mary to go to the prom. It's me and her.
Right.
And that was.
That's a little lame, but okay.
Well, but the point is, how does it apply to you? Because you didn't do this. But then, so I had to buy the dinner and the corsage and the thing. Now, which is cheaper. Now it's a group thing.
It is a group.
And
which is more expensive.
They get a limo bus.
Yes.
They get the bus.
It's more expensive there. The reason I'm saying this is Howie's going to talk about car loans, auto loans in the U.S. And what's interesting is and we'll dive into this thing here in a second, but there's $1.64 trillion in auto loans in the U.S. and $1.7 trillion in student loans. But the $1.6 trillion in auto loans, that isn't it. Does that mean everybody, I think like 80% of the people, I think we said, has a car loan? And by the way, how do you not have a car loan when you're getting out of college and going to your first job?
Totally.
I mean, the piece of it. So Howie, stay right there. We're gonna break through and talk about everything having to do with auto loans in the U.S. I have a philosophy on how to save the world in terms of auto loans.
I'm listening.
And it has to do with student loans, and we're going to tell you about it.
All right, do not go anywhere. Lots to come on this edition of the Big Biz Show. Like Sully said, going to save the world again. Keep it here.
One loan at a time. Or if you're Mary's daughter. I smell a permanent record.
studios in Southern California, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. It is the Big Biz Show. Hope everyone's having a great day as we continue this crazy ride. Costa, Mary Godwin, Greg Todorov. Oh, look out for Greg Todorov.
Girl math.
Oh, my God.
No, I have a reason
and Sully.
for everything I do. We're
math.
fighting it when the show starts. We're having a bicker.
So we're taping a couple different days this week. Little inside baseball.
Gotcha.
Anomaly, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's.
Can I?
Yes. Yeah.
Instead of assuming that I'm dumb, how about you ask me
I don't assume that you're dumb. I assume that you're.
I have a reason. Our Emmy Award-winning director.
Yes.
You just were talking to him about he's taking a little family vacation.
Yeah.
So my question was, is there a reason why we would maybe want to change the dates next week also?
Do you think we have that
Because we
covered?
love our award-winning director, don't we?
But don't you think we have that covered before he takes off?
That was my question. It was simply a question.
Do you wonder about stuff like this?
Jared, get my back here.
Do you wonder about stuff like this?
No.
I like to stay
That's
in my
because
lane.
what women
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God.
what you would do if you didn't have women in your
I don't know.
life.
It's
Not
just,
like
it's
that.
Listen,
just,
I could not live without Mary.
just the way I was
I
raised.
can't
Mike.
live with Mary.
You know,
But you don't
stay in your lane.
You know what they say, men? Can't live with them. Can't live with them.
Do you know that what would happen?
You know what they
if-
say about women?
Can't live with
Can't
them.
live with them.
Can't live with them.
Pass the beer nuts.
Oh my God. Mary, I love you. I love Mary very much.
Mary and I couldn't
This is
run
horse-
this organization without. Did you just say horseshit?
I did. There's not one other female. Where's Chris Castillo? Can she
Doesn't
come
feel
out
like a
here?
Monday at all.
Good Lord.
You okay?
It's a
Oh,
time
yeah.
change.
Yes, I'm fine.
You know what I was thinking about? Do you know what I was thinking about?
Please tell me.
I was thinking about having you
Oh, God.
sing background vocal on one of the songs
Come
we're
on.
about to do at a show.
Absolutely not. But
Would you
I'll do
really?
the
I
tambourine.
thought you would jump at that chance.
No, okay, back.
You have a lovely voice. She's got a really good voice.
Yes, it is.
I don't. I only do when you're at the lamplighter in a dark bar 4 cocktails in. That's
you
when
don't
I
drink-
have a lovely voice.
So would you not enjoy going to karaoke anymore unless you
No.
drink?
No.
You don't like to sing and perform anymore?
No, I will at the piano. I went to a piano bar in Cardiff last week, and we sang at the top of our lungs for 3 hours.
The coochie, coochie.
Yeah, the coochie coochie.
You were at the coochie coochie
I
bar.
went to coochie coochie.
No, it's a great Italian restaurant.
It's fantastic.
So it's
Anyway.
funny. So I went up there and actually had dinner, and they called me up, and I had maybe been overserved by a few, and they had me up there and play piano with the guy, and so it had me take
He's
over.
great.
But it's one of those places where this guy takes requests, and it's one of those piano bar places that's a little cheeseball because the crowd's between, let's say, 45 and 965.
Yep.
Yeah.
We fit right in.
And they're saying, "Hey, don't stop believing." He's like,
That was us. I may have to show it in the next break. I'll show a clip of us singing maybe that exact song or Sweet Caroline.
I may have a clip of mine too. Howie Font is here, and there is 1.644 trillion dollars in auto loans in the U.S., almost as much as student loan debt. This is so funny that you say that, Howie, and I'm gonna hijack your stuff here in a minute. Because remember when Joe Biden was going to forgive student loan debt?
Yes.
I did this topic on talk radio, and I said, only 20% of the population even has student loan debt. And of the people that go to college, I think it's only half of the people at college have student loan debt. But there are close to 80% of our population, adult population, that has a car loan.
Yes.
It's about the same. Now, why do you go to school? To get to work. Why do you get a car loan? To get to work.
To get to work.
If you're going to forgive anything, why not forgive car loans for the entire country as opposed to forgiving student loan debt?
I love it.
And I know this is not what this is about, but I thought, boy, if we're talking about giving $24 billion to Ukraine, how about kicking down $1 million a piece to the families here in the U.S.?
You can do that.
Right? I mean, and I realize that would cave the economy and cause rampant inflation. But Howie, I know that this is sort of not the topic you were going to talk about, but I read this because you bring up student loan debt as a comparator, and I think the real story here is just how much debt we're in. But wouldn't you think, as a campaign promise, Donald Trump should have rolled in and said, "Hey, forget the student loan debt. No more car loans." Could you imagine?
Win.
Howie's going to run on that. And what?
I think there's
I'm
an
already-
uproar over
He's
the
far
amount
too
of
fiscally
interest that would be
responsible.
paid.
How much is what is the average? So Howie, take us through the car loan stuff. What is the average debt for a car loan? $66,000 average income. $66,200 for family Ford 622. Talk about this whole thing because 1.6 trillion in auto loans, in student loan auto loans, 1.7 trillion in student loans. It's about the same thing. But
like you said, this is a form of debt and a piece of people's finances that affects them in a much broader way than even student loan debt, which I think is why it's a good comparison. So I thought it was important to talk about some of the solutions maybe, and then how big the scope of the problem is. So this is about 13% of the average income. The average income, like you said, $66,000, and the average car loan payment is 13% of that. So it's very significant.
Wait a second. The other thing too is
if you have a new car, you're spending $640 a month or $740 a month. Used $520, leased $580. So this is big stuff.
So you basically have mortgages here, and then car loans are second, right? In terms of debt.
In terms of overall debt, that's right. Yeah.
The 700 new car loans, $737 a month, up 7% from last year. Lease cars, you said $581. What's the delinquency rate? How late are we in our car payments is what I want to know.
So the average duration of car loan is actually 5.5 years, which is pretty substantial. The thing we all know about cars is that it's a depreciating asset. So you don't even own it.
The second you drive it off the driveway,
Right? It just craters you.
What is?
And you have obligations to it on average for 5.5 years. That's pretty crazy. And so we're seeing in the economy, one of the ways we measure, the strength of the consumer is credit card delinquency rates and other loan delinquency rates. And for car loans, it's up 17% just last year.
Hey, what's interesting, 19% of borrowers pay more than $1,000. But here's what I want to know: is these tariffs? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just reading this. This is scary.
Talk about the tariffs thing. This is the average car is going to tariffs could increase the average car by how much, Howie?
Just under $6,000. Yeah. So
So I got to get my daughter a car today.
Mike, just right if Donald Trump says, what's $6,000 between friends? Only $500 a month. I spend that much on Red Bull and Slim Jims.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ashtray
and
change.
This will trickle down to used cars too. So if you have a glut, if it becomes a barrier to buy a new car, then there's going to be more demand for used cars. So those prices will go up in accordance with the demand. So there's no real getting away from this. And it's because so many pieces of the manufacturing process cross the Canadian, Mexican, U.S. borders.
Yep.
So you'll have the same metal paying the tariff,
Mary,
5, 6, 7 times.
Isn't it great always being in your age and your station in life, always being in the market for a car, always being in the market for college, always being in the market for...
No, I know, I'm freaking out.
Because I'm like, you got a next one coming up.
Another daughter just turned 6. My younger daughter just turned 16. My older daughter...
16?
Yes.
That makes us... God, we are old.
I know.
I remember these kids were like 8 and 9.
I know. And then this, my older daughter is going off to college. Her car is old. I'm in the market for 1 or 2 more cars. So I'm going shopping after this show. Get it before the tariffs. Yeah.
How is any of this even affordable? Honestly.
Yeah, seriously.
How is this even affordable?
Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't many solutions for, like we were saying in a show last week, the median consumer, the median car buyer. But some of the things you should be doing, if you need to keep your budget tight, is make sure that you're measuring how much car you're buying in proportion to your income. So try and keep your monthly payment your monthly payment at 10 to 15% of your income. That's a big constraint for a lot of people. I understand leasing cheaper than buying. Maybe explore that as an option. A big thing that's very easy to do: make sure you're paying twice every 2 weeks, bi-weekly instead of monthly. You have an extra payment in there because there's more weeks than months in proportion, and you also save on interest with the interest schedule. So paying bi-weekly, annoying for some people, but can really help a little bit. And then a lot of upgrades are flashy and not needed. They're nice to haves, not need to haves. I understand this. I actually kind of disagree with this one. I read about it. And I think some are fairly essential to car companies. Will say, brakes, add-on, some things like that. So,
Howie, what's the repo market like if so many people out there are delinquent on their loan payments or car payments?
I mean, are they picking up cars, you mean?
Yeah, they're picking up cars because I'm thinking go to a police auction if you want to get a good car.
Yeah, but then you pay. But here's the thing, though, and how you can answer this. Then you pay cash. I used to think
That's true.
I'm going to pay cash, but why use your own cash? Use other people's money during the low interest rate periods. Okay, and the low interest rate periods were interesting because keep in mind we were talking about 2% for a while for car loans. Car loans are now in the 10s and 11s, right?
True.
So Howie so it's would you suggest? See, I think it's okay to have a little bit of debt in a car because they're so expensive you have to. So let's continue this conversation, but I'll tell you what, Howie, thanks for the bad news. And Mary's leaving early.
Thanks again.
He is our market analyst, the beautiful, handsome Howie Font. We'll be back on later in the show. And don't you go anywhere, all you peeps. Lots more to come with the Big Biz Show. Keep it here.
All right.
Hope you guys are having a great day. We certainly are, because you are along for the ride with us, along with the DTT, Day Trader Trio. Here at the bar, it's Costa and Herbert Godwin. Our executive producer is Greg Todorov, and of course, Sully.
And we are brought to you by Prudential. Let Prudential be your rock for retirement. Also brought to you by Bayer Advanced. Better science, better results. It's not the kind you take, Mike. It's the fertilizer.
I learned that the hard way.
I know you did. Starbucks coffee. I'm popped up on some right now after I snorted my ADD medication. Bloomin' Brands. You may have heard of some of the restaurants. Outback Steakhouse and their authentic Australian food, including a bloomin' onion, which grows on the sides of the roads.
Crazy that happens.
And of course, Taylor Guitars here. Of course, our guitar sponsor. I am so excited that this next guest is on. David Dodd was a regular guest a number of years ago. Just a really great individual. I got to see him in person and via Zoom. He is the chairman and CEO of a company called GeoVax Labs. They're a clinical stage biotechnology company developing vaccines for some of the world's most threatening infectious diseases. However, they pivoted in a number of ways in serving humanity through innovations in immunology. And I just reached out to him and said, listen, I got a couple emails asking whatever happened to GeoVax. You guys used to have them on the air all the time. I reached out to David. We got to talk. And guess who we have once again on our studios? David, great to see you, man. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, can you give us a catch up, twofold? Catch us up on where you guys are at, but maybe right before that, tell us a little bit about what you guys are actually concentrating on. What are you guys doing these days?
Sure. We're concentrating on three key programs, and it's very simple. That's what we spend. That's what our balance sheet is focused on. That's what I'm focused on. One is the next generation COVID-19 vaccine. The big news there, last June, we were awarded approximately $400 million from the federal government in support of our vaccine in a major trial that will compare it to the Moderna vaccine. So it's an efficacy trial. It's very exciting. We have other programs underway. Secondly, we now have, which we didn't have the last time we talked, we have a product, a vaccine advancing on an expedited process that will be the first U.S.-based supplied Mpox or Monkey Pox vaccine, which also is used to prevent smallpox. Right now, there's a single supplier worldwide. We're going to end that monopoly and have an onshoring, basically a U.S.-based supplier is going to be out there. That's advancing very rapidly. And then thirdly, our cancer therapy, Gedeptin, we announced last summer that we are going forward with a phase 2 clinical trial in first recurrent head and neck cancer patients utilizing our Gedeptin combined with what's known as a checkpoint inhibitor, something such as Keytruda, where we think it'll show some significant value for people who are having first recurrent head and neck cancer patients. So those are the three programs that we have. So we're doing a lot, accelerating a lot, moving as quickly as we can.
You know, David, you bring up a key point here, talking about moving as quickly as you can. You guys are moving at the speed of light. When we first talked to you, you had a lot of good traction on your original therapy here. But what got you guys the catalyst to go in multiple directions? Because you predicted that this was going to happen, and sure enough, you're doing it now. Was there a tipping point that got you guys in the right direction there?
Well, there were a couple of them, I believe. In 2022, we had the monkeypox outbreak, as it was known. Now it's known as Mpox. So we were apparently offending monkeys worldwide, so we had to change the name from. WHO said we're offending monkeys, call it Mpox. Okay,
yeah,
it's
right.
Mpox. Same virus, but we just don't want to. We don't want to shame
upset the monkeys.
And so we that broke out in 2022 in the spring. It again broke out this past August. In fact, just recently, February 22nd, WHO issued their third declaration of a public health, global health emergency in only 6 months. That's almost unprecedented that WHO would take such a strong stand. We realized in 2022 that there was a single player worldwide making hundreds of millions of dollars in sales because they were the only ones supplying the product, and yet we had the same product essentially on the shelf here. So we acquired the rights from NIH, and we now are about to start yet this year our own clinical study. We're vialing the product, basically putting into the little glass vial so you can take it out with a syringe. That's underway as we speak. And so yet this year, that'll go into its clinical trial. So we're very excited about that. The other thing was in 2023, the White House came out with a program called Project NextGen, recognizing that those first generation COVID-19 vaccines had some very significant limitations. They had to continuously be reconfigured every time there's a new strain or variant. They also don't last long, as we all had talked about in the past. People were having to get another shot every 3 to 6 months. And then finally, populations who have certain blood cancers or kidney disease, basically their bodies are compromised from the immune side. The first generation vaccines don't work for them. Our vaccine was constructed to work specifically for those people. And that led to the award that we announced last June of approximately $400 million for a major trial, a 10,000 patient trial, half of whom will be receiving our vaccine, the other half the Moderna vaccine. So it really pushed things forward. And then we ended up completing what we were doing with Gedeptin, our solid tumor therapy. And we realized that, there's a real need in first recurrent head and neck cancer patients. And we can actually improve the type of products that an Opdivo or that a Keytruda, they call checkpoint inhibitors. If you combine those with our product, you'll get a much better performance of those products. And so that's what led us into this focus on these 3 programs. We in essence narrowed it away. So we're not doing anything at this time on the Ebolas or the Marburgs, basically the hemorrhagic fever viruses. Set those aside, set Zika virus aside, and focused, and then we applied our balance sheet to speed things up. So that's what we've done.
David Dodd, Chairman, CEO, GeoVax Labs Incorporated. Their ticker symbol is GOVX. David, being part monkey, I thank you for now calling it Mpox. In all seriousness, if we were to have another massive outbreak like COVID, how is GeoVax doing? Are we, as a nation, as a world, are we kind of neck and neck with the new viruses? Are we getting out ahead of them?
Well, it's hard to predict because you can't predict a new virus until it emerges. I mean, that's the challenge.
Sure.
What you can put in place is pandemic preparedness, as it's referred to in the industry and government and all that. And I think we're doing a much better job, regardless of the administration in place. I would say that the new administration is experienced. They were the ones that led Operation Warp Speed.
Right.
This Project NextGen is the follow-on to that. I think they have come in very well equipped and with readiness to be better prepared, be more flexible. We're looking at a new manufacturing process that will increase the yield by tenfold of what you normally produce out of certain infectious disease vaccines. It will improve, it'll accelerate how many batches you can do in a certain time period. So that's like a compounding feature. And most importantly, we estimate that it'll reduce the cost 5-fold, which means we can then make sure that it's getting to places in Africa and other places that literally in some cases have simply not been able to afford to be able to utilize some of the vaccines. So they were at the end of the line with COVID-19. They should be at the front of the line with Mpox, but they're still at the end of the line there. So we're working very closely with Africa also in that regard. So I think that the industry, public health in general, is better prepared now than certainly everyone was in 2020. New technologies, new manufacturing processes, I've mentioned, are coming forward. So I think now it's a major focus to say you've got to do a better job and don't just kick the can until the next pandemic.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
GOVX is the ticker symbol. GeoVax Labs Incorporated. He's their chairman and CEO, Mr. David Dodd. Please do not be such a stranger, David.
Dave, we'll see you again very
In over 175 countries in all the ships at sea on the American Forces Network, it is the Big Biz Show. Those three guys playing on that stage, just a day trader trio, best in the business. Us here at the bar, the jury's still out. Costa, Marybird Godwin, Greg Todorov's our executive producer, and of course, Sully.
I had a great call this morning with Shane Schaffer and his team because we are doing, as we are known to do, not very often, but we get to do these a couple times a year, is a Bizumentary.
Love those.
On ADHD. And when the network sees kind of some of the work we do here on Big Biz Show in terms of when we did the suicidal ideation or we did the sleep apnea, or even a liver cancer, they heard Shane and said, because it's more of a public service to hear about some of this stuff. And Devin and company were on that call this morning to talk about sort of the narrative. So you're going to see this here on BizTV here. I think it'll take us about 8-9 weeks to produce the thing, maybe less, depending if we put Devin in a hermetically sealed. We send him out to shoot, put him in a cave, and his team kind of gets together. But it was really encouraging, and the more I hear the story, and Shane Schaffer, who's CEO of Cingulate, chairman and CEO of Cingulate, by the way, ticker symbol CING. And you go to Cingulate.com. Once you agree, and Shane, I bet you don't get tired of saying this, is about the inavailability of options that you guys are resolving in terms of ADHD. And think of it this way. Most people align ADHD with children.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not the problem. So Shane, take it. I thought that was this morning, even though we're planning on creating something, it's just illuminating to me and how much you get to talk about this. And I bet the light bulb goes on every time you talk to somebody about the fact that this ADHD issue is robbing families of their moms and dads. It's robbing productivity, and there's a solution here. I'm gonna let you take it from there. The good stuff this morning, by the way.
Yeah, good to see you too. And hello, team. I'm wearing my Raider black, just FYI.
And Mike's wearing a little KC red.
I always knew you'd come around, Shane.
Take me to a game and I'll go anywhere, right? Good to see
know what?
everybody.
We're doing that this year. We are all going to go to Las Vegas.
Chiefs
and we're going to go
Raiders.
to Chiefs Raiders. But I'll be wearing a Mahomes jersey right with you, buddy. So
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
So take it away.
You're bringing up a good point, Sully. And I think, funny thing is there's so many treatment options out there in terms of different medications that have been approved, but there's still not a single treatment option available yet that is going to give a patient the ability to overcome all these unmet needs. And it starts with one simple phrase. We want a product that lasts a patient's entire active day. An active day. And that's the key point you want this medication to start right away, last long enough. And now we walk into some more troubles. Side effects from getting medications that are too many milligrams, too low of a milligram dose. Products that don't last long enough, which is all of them. Products that have this crash and rebound, which is a side effect of coming off the medications. You have the need to take booster doses, which 60% of patients take every day. In a $23 billion market, by the way, and no one solved this problem. Cingulate has a solution. And then with those booster doses, those are your short-acting stimulants. That's where 99% of the abuse and diversion exists. That's the college campus problem. That's the adult issue. That's, not so much the children, but that's the adult problem. You walk around with these class 2 stimulants in your pocket, and, that's where problems exist. You crack it, you crush it, you snort it, you share it. What we've done is we've created a product where you take one tablet right away when you wake up. We start working within 30 minutes. We last your entire active day. We get you from home to homework, from breakfast to dinner, from revelry to taps. We take you through your active day. And in doing so, too, we want to lower the side effect and the tolerability burden. We've done that as well. Our data looks tremendous. So we're really excited about, number one, the opportunity to bring this to patients and payers and providers. And payers are looking forward to this as well, which is interesting because they know the problems. They know the problems with these short-acting stimulants, and they want the rebates as well. And we're going to be a branded product that's poised to really be the dominant force in ADHD moving forward because this is the solution patients and providers have not been just wanting, but been begging for. And we do it by giving 3 doses at the right time, at the right place, in the right ratio, and in the right style of release. pulse, sustained release pulse, 35, 45, 20 at 0, 3, and 7 hours. No one's ever done that before. We've done it because frankly, I worked at Novartis and created some failures. They were good products, but they didn't solve the problem. So we brought in the top experts and they developed this product for us. We listened to them, and that's where Cingulate's product comes from. And we're really poised to be the leading product in ADHD as soon as this product gets approved.
Shane Schaffer is the chairman and CEO of Cingulate. Their ticker symbol is CING.
Hey, Shane, I wanted to ask you a question about the stigma as it relates to ADHD and taking medication, because I think I've told you in the past that my daughter, I didn't know that the way her behaviors were related to ADHD, and I had a stigma about it completely. And when I heard that she was a textbook case, I thought, no. I was thinking, number one, she's not the little boy in the corner with the fidget spinner. And number two, also I was nervous, kind of what you alluded to with ADHD leads, or the medication can lead to abuse and all the other things. So Are you seeing a change in that stigma, and how does your company help kind of educate the population about it?
There have been, we get a walk on the shoulders of giants, as we say, from time to time. And I think companies like Shire and Novartis and J&J and, some of those folks did a great job of educating, folks and getting people to understand that ADHD is a neurobiological disorder. It is the most genetic of any mental health disorder that exists. So odds are, folks, if you're a parent listening to this and your child has ADHD, one of you're one of the people that helped create this child, it probably has ADHD as well. It's a very highly genetic disorder. You look back in the 80s, depression had a stigma around it. We pushed through that. It's a very real issue. Same thing with ADHD, and I think it's very well accepted that it is a real disorder. However, there is still a lot of misinformation out there. It's always much more glamorous to point out the one person who had trouble on a medication or did something poor while they were on a medication. The reality is this: there's 22 million Americans that have clinical ADHD in this country. Now, only 56% of them are being treated with medications. So, overprescribing and overuse of these medications is not the issue. Are there times it is? Absolutely. To your point about abuse and diversion, yes, that's wrong. So let's just take that tablet, that little short-acting booster, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
We fixed it. It's in our tablet. So I think the stigma is largely being overdone, but it's glamorous. That'll catch a headline versus patient effectively treated. That never really gets too exciting. The reality is this: ADHD is real. Patients have a shorter lifespan. They have more accidents. They have less job security. They have twice the rate of already high rate of divorce. They have double the rate of incarceration. These are real problems that affect society. And look, I am all for, good behavioral, therapy as adjunctive therapy with ADHD. We need that, and we'll do that. But at the end of the day, this class of medications, the stimulant class, is the most effective and safe medications out there. We're making it better at Cingulate.
Is there compassionate care opportunities for a drug like this? Because There's at least 6 people in our studio that I find it would be compassionate for you to give Mary some. She thinks forgive me some. Yeah. And, but the point is honestly though, is there a compassionate care element to something like this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so look, your typical approval process, we plan to file our new drug application with the agency in the late July, early August timeframe. The review period is anywhere from 6 to 10 months, depending upon which review Cingulate receives for its lead asset, 1301, will depend on some factors, but then also result in some abilities for the company to potentially provide the product in a compassionate manner sooner than later. Regardless, when the product gets approved, we will be providing compassionate use. Absolutely, we'll have the typical coupons and the long-term co-payment cards, and we'll have tools available to make sure patients that no matter what their health plan is, no matter what their socioeconomic status is, they'll have the ability to access these products.
So Mary, this time next year we're spending a lot of time in KC in the Midwest. Hey, last of all, let's talk about this press release that came out last week reporting the safety results from your final phase 3 trials for the 1301. I'll tell you what, this is. I'll let you take it from there. You're beating your chest.
The key takeaway is, number one, this product has once again demonstrated, as it has now in 9 human trials that we have delivered and created a product that has an excellent safety and tolerability profile. In our fast fed study, which was the highest dose, 50 milligrams, that's equivalent to 100 milligrams of Ritalin. So it'll be the highest available commercial dose ever. We had tremendously positive data in terms of the fact that, patients weren't, jumping out of the study. It's a very high dose, 50 milligrams. So we're really encouraged, again, 9 straight trials of lower or no side effects versus other treatments out there. So look, the data has looked incredible. We're excited to get the fast-fed pharmacokinetic data out in the next month. We did this already at a middle dose of 25, and we demonstrated that this product can be taken with or without food. So at the end of the day, what we want to be able to do is tell physicians that this product is approved for patients 6 and older, take it with or without food, and enjoy an entire active day of solid ADHD efficacy.
He is Shane Schaffer, Chairman, CEO, Cingulate, ticker symbol CING. Cannot wait for the Bizumentary. Cannot wait for this, and that's the return of the Big Biz Show. If you stay with us, we're going to get more of it right after this. Once again, a big old howdy to you, as we like to say here in these parts. It's the Big Biz Show.
Nobody says that, but
Howdy to you.
We're inside the loft.
This is why he works on his
I've never
marriage.
said that.
This is why he works so hard in his marriage. Because he knows if he was ever booted, it's over. It's, he's...
Saddle up to the bar, y'all. Costume, wherever got him a great tire off. It's Sully. You just harpooned me. No one ever says that.
I'm not sure I would refer to yourself as a harpoonable.
Yeah, Mike, that was a bad
It was a jungle. It was a blow dart. Joining us right now is John Vandermosten, Senior Life Science Analyst for Zack's Small Cap Research and Unboxing Biotech. He's got his thumb on the pulse of everything biotech. Quickly become one of our favorite guests. Mr. V, how are you?
Doing great.
Hey, what's a digital twin other than me and Mike?
Yeah, well, everyone's heard of AI, and a digital twin is one way that AI is able to represent itself. So, for example, a company may want to run a clinical trial, but clinical trials are expensive. You got to find people to populate it. So what they can do is recreate the responses of a patient in a digital twin and run the trial on that, and then save a lot of money. They still have to do it in people eventually, but it helps a lot of the early stage research. And big names like Bayer and Sanofi are both, among many others. Actually, Merck Germany is another one. They're all using digital twins to get things started in their clinical trials.
John, is that all AI generated when you're talking those terms?
Yeah. I'd say AI is what is behind it. I mean, digital twins have been around for a long time. I think AI, kind of as we think about ChatGPT and things like that, it's been around like 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
But digital twins have been around quite a bit longer, but they're becoming a lot more sophisticated now. In the early stage, they could only look at a few variables, but now they're pretty good at replicating the way a patient would respond. So there were a couple of studies. There was let me look right here. There was one for asthma that Sanofi did, and Bayer did one in diabetes. And the latter one, they were actually able to estimate what glucose levels would do with certain drugs, so they could see how they worked, and then they could pick the right one to actually go into clinical trials and use on patients. So they saved a lot of money, saved a lot of time in doing this.
I always sort of, and I don't know if this is a personality trait, I minimize when bullets are whizzing overhead. I tend to be a glass half full sort of person and trust the process. On the other hand, Mary and I were living 2 separate lives during COVID. I was on my bicycle outside, finding every bar I could that was serving beer, even if it was closed. You, because your kids are in school, and you think because I had parents, I'd have at least be a little less sociopathic when it came to the pandemic, but I just wasn't scared of it. I think the reason why I wasn't scared of the pandemic was because when my parents texted me, say, "Hey, Bob, can you run to Trader Joe's for us and get us 2 rolls of toilet paper, some of that sugar-free chocolate, and 3 cases of $2 chuck. I'm not kidding. I have the text message of my mom asking for 3 cases of wine during COVID. I say, okay, I'm not.
God bless her.
You, on the other hand, were very concerned, as were most of the people. The reason I'm asking this is there's multiple infectious disease outbreaks right now. Closest to home is the measles right here in Texas and New Mexico. But we've got, so talk about that, because is biotech doing a good job now post-COVID of getting us ahead of the curve here?
Well, it looks like a lot of the funding for some of those programs that we're able to do early response is kind of dissipating a little bit. It's kind of scary, I guess. I was just getting updated on the numbers. It looks like there's about 200 cases now in Texas, 250 around the United States that are going on, but that's not it. There's actually there's an Ebola outbreak in the Congo, and then there's the Marburg virus, which is similarly kind of bad for you. And then did you hear about Gene Hackman? I don't know if you heard about him.
Yeah. So his wife passed away from a rat infestation sort of thing.
Exactly.
He has Alzheimer's, by the way. Poor guy. One of the greatest actors. And apparently he didn't know his wife passed. Mm-hmm. He lived in the home for an extra week, fed himself, and then he caught it and died. And of course they discovered it was just a horrific scene. And I really wish the PR firms did a better job of this, because I don't want to remember Gene Hackman having Alzheimer's, dying with his wife 10 days later, and then waiting another 10 days as decomposed bodies are found, and so on. I'm helping the narrative here. But continue on, because this is not as far away as we think it is sometimes, right?
I mean, infectious disease is all around us, and vaccines have been one of the ways we fought it. Now this thing that the hantavirus that his wife caught, and potentially he caught as well, I don't think there's a vaccine for that. It's pretty rare, but still, you got to be careful and not go sniffing around to where you shouldn't, I guess. Right?
Oh my gosh.
John, is that wascally monkeypox stuff still around, or?
I think that there was another outbreak of that also in Africa. Now there's different kinds of monkeypox, actually. There was one that we had here a couple of years ago, you may remember.
Yeah.
That was not so easily transmissible. The one right now that's moving around Africa is actually a little bit more transmissible. So, the thing that I'm always worried about is, we're just an airplane flight away from some of these things. And, we all live near international airports. So, just
sorry to laugh.
We're watching the markets go down, right?
The interesting part of this is that, we hear just a few weeks ago that likely this COVID outbreak was from that lab in China, so on and so forth.
Yep.
If something like this happened again, and the reason I'm asking you, John, is because you're in the biotech space, and do you think that our reaction time would be different now? Are those biotech companies, have they changed anything? Are they, not that they have a responsibility to, but are they at the ready now for something like this? In the wake of measles and Mpox and all that stuff.
We have more tools. I mean, there is a vaccine for Mpox. It's a pox virus vaccine that works for, I think, chicken pox, or it works for another pox virus. But I think with what Pfizer did with its vaccine, that was pretty amazing. I mean, what was it, 14 months or something from beginning to having a vaccine?
Yeah.
I think we've learned a lot. So yeah, I think if we had an outbreak, we could respond much faster. But still, I couldn't see it happening much faster than a year. And it cost, it cost what, billions to do it. So it's not cheap.
Less than 30 seconds, John. Sounds like the capital markets are opening up for biotech. Is that what I'm hearing for the second quarter here?
Yeah, well, I would say the markets are down pretty sharply today. But I took a look at the healthcare space, and it's actually up. If you look at the sub-industries, and I advise the viewers to do this to kind of see how the charts look over the last 3 months for the S&P versus the healthcare sub-indices. But biotech and pharmaceuticals both have pretty nice-looking charts over the last 3 months, especially the last several weeks. So, maybe it's time to take a look for some sector rotation, right?
John Vandermosten, Senior Life Science Analyst, Zack's Small Cap Research and Unboxing Biotech, your go-to for measles and monkeypox. John, always appreciate the visit. That is going to do it for this edition of the Big Biz Show.